Welcome to episode 26 of YOUx2, where we're on an adventure of discovering the two of us that are living this human experience. This little human character that we're playing here in the real us, that powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being that's made of unconditional love. Hey everybody, it's your brother Zen, and I'm a wake-up artist. My passion is helping us remember who we really are and of that connection that we have with the Creator and the spirit world. In the last episodes, we've been looking at kind of how we can look at what emotion that we're experiencing in this moment and go all the way back to where the emotion originated in our little child self, with it echoing going forward. It allowed us to pick up our little child, hold on to it, give it unconditional love and acceptance and attention, and then it was able to discharge those emotions to where it no longer felt the need to continue to echo these emotions, trying to get our attention to look at them. In this episode, we are going to be looking at the heartbreak related to intimate relationships and what I learned on my time on the drama train. All aboard! Hoot hoot! I think looking at what is behind our hunger for love and what our flavor of love that we're looking for is a great place to start, because we come from a place of unconditional love, yet we're born here into a world of constantly changing conditions. Yet we still hunger for that unconditional love from above, but all we're offered in the external world is a conditional love. And everyone that comes across our path, regardless of how they're behaving, is hungering for that same love, in search for that same love. So we enter this maze looking for all the conditions, convinced of this long list of things that we have to obtain in order to get that unconditional love. And that's the snafu, isn't it? Because unconditional means zero conditions, so there is nothing that we need to do to try to obtain it. We can't gain unconditional love, and we can't lose it either, because it just is. It is our birthright. It is who we are. It's what we're made out of. Where does the flavor of love that we hunger after come from? The Presence Process by Michael Brown says it very well. During childhood, the example of love set by our parents' interaction with us, with each other, and with others becomes our primary definition of love. This is the automatic consequence of emotional imprinting. For this reason, whenever we seek to manifest an experience of love for ourselves as adults, we unconsciously manufacture a physical, mental, and emotional scenario designed to recreate the emotional resonance we experienced during our childhood interaction with our parents. This resonance doesn't have to be comfortable or in any way pleasant, only similar and hence familiar. And until we look back at that original emotional imprinting, we will just continually, unconsciously continue to put forward and even pass on from generation to generation that emotional imprinting. Because if you look at it, when children are going through their emotional, imprinting period, it's like from birth to like 7 years old. And usually parents around that age aren't at the age of where they've done a lot of inner reflection, so they haven't even become aware of that emotional imprinting yet. So they're just unconsciously pushing that forward, and we'll continue to do that over and over and over again until we go take a look. So my perception of my parents' relationship was that my mom sacrificed herself trying to become the person that she thought my dad wanted her to be. So, she moved away from her family and sacrificed that. She changed her looks and her hair color and her hairstyle, even worked jobs while she took care of the house, while my dad spent a lot of time trying to be an entrepreneur, which of course takes a lot of hours as well. And also, somehow I knew that my dad was not being faithful to my mom and that she knew as well. And me being a mama's boy, I'm a mama's boy, I took on more of my mom's emotional imprinting, went through all of that. So I had this black and white world of that I had to do big things in order to get the attention that I thought I was wanting. And it's interesting. The more you look at your parents, like younger childhood, and what they went through, you understand more of what possible emotional, those emotional imprints were passed down from generation to generation, perhaps maybe all of them, right? Because I look at my mom and she was the oldest of like 11 children. And so I know she mentioned to me that like her dad, she doesn't remember her dad ever saying that he loved her. And also that she was from very young being a mom herself, helping take care of siblings. So you can imagine that even if you have just a couple children, that it's hard to get attention, the attention that our little child wanted, much less, battling. I think by the time she left home, there's probably like 8 kids, and then 3 of them came later after she had even left. But still, that's still a lot of individuals that were there. Also, my dad, when his dad was away at war, his mom actually went and dropped him off at his grandmother's house and left his father. And then when he came back from war, he got remarried. And for a while, he was with that family, but the stepmom was not taking care of him. So his dad took him back and let his mom raise him from that point, too. So you can see how all of this interactions, if we don't go back and look at those, they just repeat. A lot of the same themes keep repeating and repeating and repeating over and over again. And in addition to, like, going back, when I mentioned in the last episodes, emotionally going back to our little child experiences and embracing them and allowing them to discharge that stuff, we can really understand more as we dig into the stories of our parents and our grandparents, if we have that. And especially if you look at a family tree these days on all those, heritage, ancestry type of things, you're like, oh my gosh, look how many people are involved in our belief systems and our energy that were passed down from generations to generations. But with all of that, we get to discover that we can become that parent that we had always felt we needed as that little child, the one that loves us unconditionally, accepts us unconditionally, and gives us unconditional attention. I think that all relationships are mirrors for us, but somehow intimate relationships turn into this crazy hall of mirrors where we're seeing things that we normally wouldn't in other relationships. And perhaps it's because we become maybe more vulnerable and a little more of our masks kind of fall off there. And one of the big ahas I got while on the little drama train was this awareness that no one could ever love me more than I loved myself. I know. So if my little pipeline of love from my heart was about that big, that was the extent of love that could come into my heart, and also the amount of love that could come out of my heart. And you look at your relationships, like when I consider my long-term relationships being anything from a year up to my maximum, which was 3 years, that all these individuals that come into our lives are by divine appointment. And perhaps intimate relationships, I know when I was going through them, I didn't really maybe think they were so divine as maybe that they were demons dispatched to torture me. But afterwards, 2020, looking back, I realized every single one of them was a divine teacher that I did want in my life, that was continually showing me how I felt about myself and what I wanted to know about myself until I saw it. There's this amazing book by Deepak Chopra called The Path to Love. And spoiler alert, so if you're going to read it, you might want to just skip ahead a little bit, but I would still listen. This might help, because when I was reading it, one part in the book, it was asking, what are you looking for in a mate? And it had you list out everything that you wanted in a mate. And so I actually wrote down everything that I did not like in the relationship, because what broke my heart, so that I would know what I wanted. And so I was like, okay, number one, cheated on me and I felt used for my money. And I'm like, okay. Number two, I wrote down, oh, cheated on me and also felt like they used me for my money. Wait a minute. Number three, they spoke harshly with me and also felt used for my money. And number four, they chose their career and having an open relationship over having a committed relationship with me. And then number five was, I felt they were trying to fit me in between the important things. And so when I looked over all that, I was like, okay, so overall my conclusion was I felt disrespected by them in some way. And those were, of course, the perspectives of my little heartbroken side of myself before I did my inner shadow work. And so with that conclusion that I wanted a mate with someone, to be with someone who respected me, I confidently wrote that answer down. I want someone who will respect me. I was like, all right. And then I went to read on into the next section. And of course, you probably already know this. It said, what you're trying to find in someone else, you need to find in yourself. Yes, that book went flying across the room. And while I calmed down and I contemplated and was like, oh, okay, I see, thank you, Deepak Chopra, Dr. Chopra, for showing me that this was true. I had taken on as my mom did, thinking that I needed to sacrifice all of my friends, my desires, my dreams, myself, to try to become who I thought they wanted me to be. And I know it sounds silly, because when you look at it, well, hello, I attracted them by being me. So why would I think I would need to be someone else? But that's in our subconscious. There's this belief somewhere down in there that, yeah, you were enough to attract them, but in order to keep them, you have to become someone else. And that is when the realization of my tendency to become an enabler in codependent relationships showed its lovely head. Hey everybody, it's Brett Zen, and I'm an enabler in codependent relationships. Welcome to the group. And at the core of enablers' beliefs about themselves, somewhere in there is this belief that we are not enough for someone to be around us just by being us. If we're not able to give to people, we feel we're not enough for them to stick around, and they'll eventually just, break up with us, abandon us, leave us behind, and go find what they're looking for in someone else. And we might go into a relationship, in the beginning as adult to adult and allowing them to give to us, but it doesn't last very long before it changes from adult to mama bird, daddy bird, and baby bird. And we want to give to baby bird, and baby bird wants to give back to us, and we're like, no, baby bird, you can't give to us because that freaks us out. When someone tries to give to us, that puts us in this paradigm of not only are we not giving to you, but now we're becoming needy, and we're on the wrong end of that because it's not going to take too long before you jet and leave us alone. So we will give and give and give and give to little baby bird until we're exhausted because we're not receiving back because we're not letting them. And we'll give and give and give and give and more until we're resentful, right? And so that's where our little enabler self ends up. But little baby bird, they want to give too. Any human wants to give. And if we're not allowing them to give to us, then where do they invest their energy? Well, they will invest that energy maybe in becoming a workaholic, investing all their energy there because they're feeling they're getting something back there because they're able to give there. Or they might spend a lot of time with their friends or with a hobby or working out, or, of course, ultimately, if it's an intimate relationship like a romantic one, they end up investing that in another other man or other woman. But it seems all part of the design. External things will disappoint us because they're temporary and unstable. Relationships. People change or they pass away. Situations never stay the same. And of course, things in our bodies, our bank accounts, our possessions, all of those things break down, deteriorate, are stolen, or burned down. So all of that thing that is out there, all that conditional stuff out there, eventually keeps turning us inward because we're so disappointed eventually in the outside world that we're left like nowhere to turn, and that we turn inward. Finally, after our stubborn selves, give up on trying to repeat that, and like they say, insanity, trying to find the love that we're looking for, that unconditional love in the outside when it's not out there, repeating the same thing, trying to get the same result, and nothing ever changes until we become disappointed enough where then we turn inward, where we find this beautiful unconditional love right here in our hearts. We connect to all those beautiful beings of unconditional love and light, and they're just oozing with all that unconditional love. And so we finally feel that deep, deep love. You take a deep breath and you just feel the love, and then our hunger that we've been having for so long finally feels full. But everything on purpose, for a purpose. I said it's like by design. We come here, like all this back here, I always have this contrast focus, because if everything was white behind me, then you wouldn't see any design. It would just be all white. But because there's some shadow in there, you see this design. It looks different. It's beautiful. But if it was all just white, you'd be like, wow, that's pretty. But so we come here on purpose, for a purpose, to experience the difference between conditional love and unconditional love. And experiencing both, we have a new appreciation for what each actually is. In the next episode, we're going to look at the 5 things I learned from my 5 exes. And here is your little ticket to the drama train that you can come aboard. But don't worry, it's not going to be all sad and gloomy and frowny. We're going to have some fun because I learned good. So in the meantime, if you are looking for more messages of love from above, in addition to these videos, I also put out weekly energy updates for each of the zodiac signs, also monthly readings for each of the zodiac signs, a few pick-a-cards, and different videos throughout the month. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those and be notified immediately when they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up and click the like button, also click the subscribe button, and that gives you access to the notification bell. And when you go in there, if you click on the all option, then you will be notified of any new videos that come out on this channel. Also, doing those things helps spread the love, and it does help my channel grow in significant ways. When you like a video, share a video, comment on a video, and especially subscribing to the channel, doing those things makes the YouTube algorithm so happy it wants to share the videos of this channel with other people as well. So if you feel inspired to do any of those things, I am very grateful. Also, any of the videos I put out are general readings, and if you're looking for even more specific information and answers for your specific life, I do offer personal readings. All that information is listed in the description box below. Also, I have a little subscriber marathon going on now too, where once I reach 1,000 or more subscribers on YouTube, I'm going to give away 10 1-hour personal readings. So if you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate you considering doing so. All right, all you lovely people, as you go throughout this next week, please know every second of every day of your life that you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing week. We'll be talking soon. But in the meantime, you hang in there and you take care.